Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Time to get back on our World Cup of Design playthroughs. Today we have The Stamping Ground by richnufc99. And yeah, we're playing from the white tees, pin 3. No comments on the entry form, so we will just be on our way then. 65.76 from the tips, so pretty short. So just so I say this at the beginning of every stream, I haven't seen these courses yet. I'm just going to kind of give my first impressions. It's not necessarily meant to be comprehensive. I play on master difficulty. I use a 281 driver, and I don't use the scout cam or the follow cam. I'll certainly play with those settings when I play some judging rounds, but otherwise, that's how we're going to do the playthrough here. Hey, Forrest. Glad you're here. Okay, so we got lots of buildings framing this opening tee shot. The lighting looks pretty good. We got some shimmering water to tee off over. So what do we got? Long par 4. Pretty scary opening tee shot, to be honest, because you got trouble on either side. Fairway looks fairly narrow. And we'll make a terrible swing to start things off. All right, so clearly we're not getting home in 2 here. So can we? I mean, that second shot landing area, if I didn't make the fairway, that is extremely narrow. And we have a pretty awful lie too. I don't think we can get there, so I'm probably just gonna have to chip it up there. About 120. Yeah, I don't carry a 3-iron in real life though. I try to make it match my real life bag. Obviously, I'm not playing to maximize my ability. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using such a short driver. Okay, so we got a really skinny green here from the looks of it. It looks like he's used the fringe trick here. I'm curious what the actual slopes look like. Hey everybody, Maddie, Jay, what's up? Okay, so if we can just get out of here with like a bogey, that'd be nice. But we're kind of in between clubs. Alright, well, we'll see. Whoa, I almost jarred that one. That would have been a hell of a birdie. Okay, so we've got this really, really steep fall off. I don't know. Obviously, the fringe trick certainly helps facilitate that, and then it goes right into the bunker there. I don't know. I think the steepness there looks maybe a tad unnatural. Maybe you could have done a few raises in places. That's maybe one way you could handle that. Let's see what the contours of the green itself looks like. Yeah, pretty sharp left to right slope, really skinny, which, you know, that is a lot for a 500-yard par 4 on your opening hole. But you do have lots of short grass out to the left. Okay, well, we'll just tap in for our par and move on. All right, par 5 second hole. Looks like it's a very sharp dogleg left. Although it looks like it's probably a 3-shotter. I'm curious what it is on the card. It's 548 as the crow flies. 627. Okay, so yeah. All right, so I think we just got to bash a driver out to the corner there. We'll take the extra long route. .385 in, nice. All right, so we laid way back and we got we can't really see very much because we did. It seems like the more aggressive layup, you'd kind of play up onto that shelf there, and you'd have a sort of a downhill shot into the green. All right, so I think we just got to give this thing everything that we've got. I'm not sure that a 3-wood's going to be enough. It looks like we got about 200 to carry there. I think a 3-wood will make it, if we can put a good swing on it. Well, it's rolling out. It must have made it. All right, we got a birdie chip. All right, so it looks like you kind of missed a spot with the fringe there. I'm not sure what. I mean, this surfacing looks bizarre, I guess. It seems extremely haphazard how they decided to mow this. Looks like you're kind of using the fringe way out there as like a run-up, but that's out there pretty far. Yeah, I mean, you can see that that mound there is kind of protecting the back pin, but it has like a bit of a backstop there, so. All right. But I mean, there's all this run-up space on a 3-shot par 5, so I don't really know if you're going to make use of that. All right. Okay, so it looks like we're kind of playing back towards that little village there. Off an elevated tee. I'm not sure if this is part of like, if that's a different green or something. Looks like it might be. Looks very cramped though. So I guess the idea here is that you can either try and fit a driver into here and have like a flop in there maybe, or you can just kind of lay it back and have a full shot in. Given how accurately I drive the ball, I think I know what I'm going to do. Well, maybe if I use one of, given that I'm probably going to get a red tempo off the tee, I probably shouldn't lay back very much because I won't be able to reach in two, so. Let's just try parking it in that large bunker there. Oh, or in the water. Okay, yeah, so that looks like it is another green. I don't know, it's kind of an odd way for these two holes to meet up with each other. Okay, I think we gotta loft this baby up a bit. Well, yeah, that's why you gotta play practice rounds. Obviously, this is not an easier way to play golf. It's just more realistic. All right, so we almost managed to make a miracle birdie there. Yeah, so you got this elevated green. I mean, it seems like the purpose of using a fringe trick on a short par 4 like this would be so that you can make that false front a little more effective, but there's just a bunch of flat. It's just flat there before it goes to red, so I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. Kind of like if you look at that green in the distance, the fringe is sort of doing some work to help carry the ball down the slope. I think a lot of the fringes on the first few holes seem kind of arbitrary. But, you know, as a small green, it seems that it makes sense for a hole this length, I think, though. All right, by some act of God, we've made 3 straight pars. And that sculpting there in that shot looks a little unnatural, if you ask me. Yeah, I think the sculpting of this tee box looks a little heavy-handed. Hey, Charlie, welcome in. You got this giant rock in the background there. Kind of dominating visual feature here. All right, so we got a short par 3 down the hill. Probably needs a lofted 9-iron here. That's probably in the water. Ah, we're dry land. Oh, we actually hit the green. Okay, so yeah, again, very, you know, in places some weird surfacing little anomalies. Not quite as weird as the second green, but yeah, it looks like that spine in the back, right? It kind of comes in from the hill in the back. That makes sense. You kind of got that plateau on the left and then sort of this bowl in the back right. The front pin's probably pretty challenging because you've got that false front. The two different styles of bridge looks a little like right next to each other. Looks, I don't know, a little strange, but I mean, that's hardly the most important thing. Okay, so now we got a short uphill par 4. This looks kind of narrow. I can't get there with this driver, that's for sure. And let's see, 313 plus 7. Let's try putting a hybrid out there. Well, we only got a gray slow this time. Is it desert theme? I can't tell from here. I'm not sure the last time I've actually played a desert theme course. Okay, so it looks like that there's that little kind of speed slot there. If you're trying to drive the green. Okay, so I guess the idea here is that you got to deal with that cliff there if you're gonna go for it. I would probably, I don't know, that little hump back there. I would probably lower that. Seeing like a bowl that then goes back up and then goes straight down looks a little unnatural. But yeah, and then some of the sculpting right there, that mound there, you could probably use a few little raises with the soft fuzzy brush in that little depression there. Kind of stuff you might pick up on polishing passes before you hit publish. All right, we got a birdie. Got another view of the village. I like visual cues that kind of serve as like an anchor for the routing. Those can be good. I think in parts, and I think I've noticed this before, in parts like the hillside looks like off in the distance, it looks maybe just a little bit bare in places. It's not that big a deal because, I understand you don't want to just necessarily have trees everywhere and, draw distances are what they are. Okay, so we got another short par 3 kind of down the hill, much like the last one was. This one's into the wind, so it's going to play a little longer. And we'll just blow it right into the dune there. The green is a good deal different, though. It's kind of benched into the hill there. Again, I feel like, seeing it slope, like on the left side, having it slope away from the water looks a little unnatural. It seems like, I think like a slightly more basic landform would work well. Yeah, I got crap internet, Axel. What can I tell you? It's not going to be smooth. None of the other playthroughs have been. I thought about it's basically either do it this way or just record them offline and don't stream. So I figured this is probably better. All right, so yeah, we've kind of talked about this green already. That back pin looks like it could be pretty fun. Okay, back to even par. Okay, so this hole is kind of point to point. Trouble on either side of the fairway. I think this is basically just asking me to hit a straight drive. Hey, and we did. Hey, Alan. Thanks for stopping by. I saw your tweet. Glad to see your course is coming along. All right. So now we've got an approach to this green that looks like it's got kind of fringe going all the way down to that bunker. All right, we stayed up. Okay. Yeah, again, kind of like the next tee box there. I think it's just a little too close to the green if you want it to be up that high. Um, again, it just looks extreme. It looks very abrupt and heavy-handed there. But yeah, this green works though, and it's it's a simple concept. It's just benched into a hill and slopes severely from one side to the other. Nothing wrong with that. All right, that might be our first like fairway green and two putt. Yeah, this tee box looks pretty big, just based on the cutscene there. Maybe it's a shared tee box. Okay, so this is a short par 5. The green is kind of down by the water there. And it looks like we want to try and I think if we just aim just inside the right bunker there, we should be good. Okay, I think we can, this will be too much club, but I'm guessing we have some fringe to run through there, although that looks really narrow, so it's not really an option. I think maybe our best bet is to just kind of play for the back of the green and maybe chip it back up. Oh, it stayed on the green, so this is going to be fun. Yeah, I think it is a nice view, a nice kind of vista. What I would suggest maybe though, just look at that rock outcropping there. Look how you see how horizontal it is there. I mean, I realize there's a road going out there, but you could probably do a little bit with sculpting, maybe some small plants. I don't know. It looks a little strange with just how horizontal that shelf is. Yeah, I think the apron they work well for like enabling ground game options. And they can be good at helping kind of carry balls off of false edges. Um, that's kind of the best use of the fringe trick. And I think it on this hole it more or less makes sense. I think. It is hard. If you're not careful, you will get those weird wavy edges though, because when you lay fringe, right? If you use a spline to lay down the fringe and it gets too close to the green edge, you're gonna get a little bulge. And that's one thing you got to be careful about. You can get some weird looking green shapes, and I mean if you look at the ones on Bragg Highlands really closely, you see that too. Okay, so yeah, this green is really small and is pretty lumpy. That's not going to get there. All right, solid 3-putt par. Oh, I'd presume there's the front one, probably 2 in the back, and then maybe 1 in the middle, just past the slope. Okay, so now we got a long par 3. Just kind of all carry over the sand. Alright, we can chip and putt this one, hopefully. Ooh, that pin is pretty tough. So kind of a 2-tiered green. I guess the fringe is a bit of a backstop, but you know, it's not like your ball's going to roll back off of that. So kind of to what Maddie was saying, if you're going to use massive fringes, you want to be kind of intentional about it. And I've kind of mentioned what it's good for already. But yeah, I think the little like the dual pane water stuff looks pretty good, I think. Yeah, that was always too much. Okay, back 9 time. Looks like driver is kind of a tricky play here. Certainly if you have an underpowered one. Maybe that stays in the fairway. I got the little fist pump. No, that got to the rough. Okay. At least we got a decent lie. Okay, so we've got this carry kind of over a little pond. and a bunker. You got a little, we'll check out that bridge when we get there. Very shallow, kind of a lion's mouth green, I suppose. We'll try that. I'm playing on master difficulty. I mentioned at the beginning. I like the realism. With Pro Swing, I just hit all the fairways. Okay, so this green feels very different than the other ones we've played, right? This one, the other ones were tended to be really small with lots of fringe. This one is massive. Okay, and I think the sculpting is the sculpting around here is a little, again, a little rough, I think. All right, stress-free par. Okay, so we got kind of our first kind of mid-length par 3 of the day here. Over this little chasm here. Let's see if we get a lucky kick. Nah, we're short. But we do get to chip off the fringe. So yeah, the front of the green doesn't look very pinnable. So I guess I'm kind of not sure what's kind of going on at the front there, because you can't put a pin there from the looks of it. I guess you could put one like in that sort of green spot in between the two yellow slopes. All right, easy par. Hey, Scottish, yeah, you and me both. All right. We got a par 5. Again, just kind of a matter of fitting your driver in that little narrow landing area. Looks very narrow for kind of shorter hitters, and then if you're a bomber, it looks like it just kind of opens up. That could be lost. Yep. And it looks like we got to reload. All right, so we're not getting home. Let's see where we can lay this up. I think we just kind of got a narrow neck of fairway to deal with. Obviously, I mean, I hit a lousy drive, so I'm not necessarily going to totally hold that against someone in terms of the in terms of what the visuals look like on a second shot if I don't hit a reasonably decent drive. Okay, so now we got this big catch basin on the left. I think visually this green actually looks pretty nice. It's got this big kind of front to back slope, or it's really just a spine. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. I'm not sure exactly how it presents to like if you're playing this hole like a normal player would, but I'd say this might, at least so far, at first glance, I think this might be my favorite green that we've seen so far. Okay, yeah, so you got that spine to deal with, you got the fall off on the left. Seems like bailing right isn't that bad a miss. You could maybe just slope the green right to left a little bit more. But that's a pretty minor critique, I think. Alright, solid bogey on the par 5. Could be. I mean, there's a whole lot of bridges too that probably chews up some meter. Alright, so again, this is kind of like a sort of station to station, I guess. You can kind of try and bite off a little bit of the dog leg here. I'm curious what the green looks like. Oh, that didn't work out so well. I guess the fairway is kind of on a high point there. Alright, I think we'll just lash at this with a 3-wood. Well, it's rolling out. Hey, there's a green in regulation for you. Okay, so yeah, the bank with the fairway there, just at the front left of the green, again with those textures just kind of climbing up it, it looks again a little abrupt. Oh, and this is a double green, I see, with a massive two different massive tiers. But yeah, the slopes do kind of look like it's meant to favor a shot in from the left. I would probably raise that edge of the green there, the left edge of the green, just a bit, because you see it's kind of sloping towards that big hill there. So again, try and make sure. Yeah, I think it's good to make greens where the slopes kind of make sense in terms of the land that they sit on. Alright, I'll take 2 putts from there. Okay, so kind of a straight ahead par 3, narrow green. I think we just kind of play for the front and try and walk away with a par here. I've noticed that there's there's like a number, unless I'm just seeing the same one, but there's like, I feel like I'm seeing a number of like solitary yellow houses there. Like I feel like I've seen a number of them, or maybe I've just seen the same one multiple times. Because I think like, you know, kind of filling in the planting in the distance is probably, I'd put a slightly higher priority on that than just having just those houses with nothing around them. They look a little desolate. I'm not sure if they really contribute to the sense of place all that much, if you know what I mean. Whereas like the village you have over here, I think it does. I don't know if, like, you know, those houses probably need some planting or something around them. They kind of look like spec homes with just kind of put down next to each other. I mean, if you compare it to like, you know, like an Arctic Fury village or something, or I'd say maybe like an Energizer village. I think that'd be something worth comparing it to. I think they look a little more cohesive, I think. And yeah, I mean, like, you don't need to, like, if you have houses in the distance and, like, you know, you don't need to, like, it's not like you have to give them all driveways and, like, nicely landscaped, but if it's right there and you're gonna see it when you're playing the course, you know, you want to make it look like it belongs there, right? That someone actually lives there and, like, takes care of their property, I think. All right, so onward to 15 here. Oh, that's an unfortunate missed fairway. Oh boy, we got rocky. We got rocks. Okay. Well then. Should I putt this one? Alright, so it looks like we kind of got this. The green here is being guarded by that mound with fringe on top of it. You know, that putting fringe on there, it kind of, I guess it gives rise to like sort of random bounces and stuff, which can be, I don't know, kind of whimsical. Yeah, so let's kind of assess, now that we see what the green's like, let's kind of assess things. I guess it seems like you want to be playing from the right side of the fairway, but I'm not sure it makes that big a difference. Like, I don't know if that's going to give you the angle if you play out to the right. You do have that feeder slope in the back that kind of helps. Yeah, let's try playing a chip, see how that works. Oh, the fringe killed that. Oh, it actually turned out pretty good. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, so it looks like we're kind of playing over a little rise in the fairway there with water left and water right. So it seems like we're kind of visually blocking the green a bit. And I'm not exactly sure why. I think having the fairway kind of rise up like that when you've got, again, trouble left, trouble right, it kind of, I don't know if it really adds anything. Okay, we got 328. Downhill, I don't think I can't get there with my driver, so let's do some triangulation here. If you thought I was bad on the World Cup draft with my ponderous pace. Alright, we might have a fairway. Yep, so I hit a nice fair hybrid to the fairway, and I'm just kind of staring at this fairway mound. Which, I mean, you know, that's not like a universal rule that, like, you know, having a pin partially obscured by short grass. It's not like that's a, you know, never do it. It can never be pulled off. It's always bad, but I don't know. I think the green will, what the green's doing here is kind of should be telling. It looks like there's a mound kind of front left there. So it would seem to me that if that's the case, like you don't want to be hitting a pitch in from the left, then like this should be really inviting over here, and I'd be tempted to kind of bail out and avoid the water, but instead it's just like I better just hit I just better put a good swing on it. Okay, so we'll take that shot. Yeah, so you could maybe bring that, because I'm guessing you don't have a pin right next to this one, so you could probably bring that slope in a little bit from the left to protect this pin a little bit more. I think the yellow slope on the other side, though, is pretty good. Again, it discourages you from coming in from the left, but that doesn't, going left doesn't feel like it's that safe a play. So yeah, that's kind of my take on this hole. It just kind of feels like sort of penal design in that it doesn't really, it's just like, can you hit a good shot? Alright, well at least we made one birdie today. Alright, now we got another sort of drop shot par 3, so this is kind of our third downhill sub 150 par 3. I'm not saying you can never have more than one of those, but you better have a good reason to. Yeah, and I think like this looks a little weird, this like island in this little sort of dead end of a channel. I guess it's not technically an island because you have sand there, but I don't know. Alright, I think we'll just put a sandwich on the green somewhere, hopefully. Oh, that could be trouble. No, we're dry. Yeah, so I think that fringe kind of makes sense in the front, assuming you have a pin up there. I'm guessing you have to walk. You probably have to walk back, and then maybe the 18 goes back in the other direction. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like the green was there was the green there. So I think it's just on the other side of the channel there. So presumably you just would have to walk back to the tee and then come up. I mean, I've played holes like that before, but then again, bad architecture exists in real life too, folks. So just saying, "Oh, I've seen it in real life" doesn't make it defensible. I'm not saying it's as long as it's not. I mean, you know, I think that slight routing quirks in terms of, you know, green to tee walks aren't necessarily like unforgivable. I mean, if you do like a Canuck sort of I can't remember what course, Burrowing Owl routing, then yeah, then I might have an issue. Alright, let's see if this one stays dry. Alright. Pretty good break to get in the bunker, I think. Okay, so we gotta figure out where we're gonna put this. So we can either make the carry there, or we have like a serious layup. That does seem a little stark if you miss the fairway. Alright. This probably isn't going to work, but whatever. Oh, jeez. Alright. I think we're just going to kind of chop things up here on 18 and be on our way. Alright, we got a birdie putt, just like we drew it up. Okay, so you got the fringe sort of feeding into the bunker there. Yeah, we've had a few of these sort of beach bunkers. And we kind of got that big mound that we got to put over here. $106 feet. Alright, here we go, folks. Red power's probably not good. Alright. We managed to putt into a bunker. Good. Alright. At least the fringe managed to do something to us. Okay. So there you have it, folks. Yeah, you can see that kind of barren hillside there beyond the clubhouse. So yeah, I think, you know, I won't try and sugarcoat things too much, because I think I was honest about things. I thought the sculpting was rough in spots. I thought the fringes were a little haphazard. Kind of what Maddie said. There was a little. It could have been a little more intentional in terms of where you used it. And then in places the planting seemed, there were those gaps in the planting which looked a little strange. But I think Rich has designed some really good courses. I know he has the ability. And I thought the kind of the rocky, sandy look um, was a really interesting one. So yeah. So that was the Stamping Ground. If you're on Twitch, stick around. We'll be right back on the other side with another playthrough.